How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Beetlejuice. That's right, and I'll say his name again. This is the sequel to the 1988 Beetlejuice movie, once again directed by Tim Burton, and once again stars Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz, Catherine O'Hara as Delia Dietz, and also joining the cast are Monica Bellucci, Jenna Ortega, and Willem Dafoe. And in this movie, 36 years after the original movie, Lydia Dietz has her own paranormal show, but lately she has been getting these flashes and nightmares or thinks she sees Beetlejuice all around. But when a family tragedy brings her back to the old ghost house and her daughter opens a portal to the afterlife, Lydia Dietz has to face her fears and confront Beetlejuice and try to get her daughter back, as well as dealing with Beetlejuice's ex-wife, played by Monica Bellucci. So, as far as Tim Burton goes, I already talked about the first Beetlejuice movie the other day, but as far as Tim Burton goes, more recently, it feels like the last 20 years he's kind of spent more time doing remakes. Now, it's not to say that all his remakes have been bad. I do like his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie from 2005. His stop motion Frankenweenie movie he did in 2012 I thought was pretty good. But there's all and he did come out with Sweeney Todd back in 2007, which I also thought was good. But he's also given us Alice in Wonderland and Dumbo, and I don't think Alice in Wonderland's terrible, but it's a bland remake. Dumbo, uninteresting. Then he came out with Dark Shadows back in 2012, and which probably could have been like the perfect thing for him because it fits his stone and tile. He's had a great cast in that one. It didn't pan out all that well. And I know they've been wanting to do a Beetlejuice sequel for many years now. The script, the story went through several different changes, and we finally have it coming out at a time when legacy sequels have come out many years after the previous movie, have become the new thing. And, it's worked in many cases, like Top Gun Maverick. We kind of wonder with Tim Burton, who has fallen in love with remaking stuff, how would a Beetlejuice sequel pan out? While Michael Keaton has also been on a great comeback the last decade, playing great roles in many movies like Birdman, Spotlight, Spider Man Homecoming, The Founder, and even was one of the bright spots in last year's Flash movie, returning as Batman, and he still showed he had it as Batman. What can he do again with Beetlejuice? And so Beetlejuice comes out, and this movie was very good. This is probably Tim Burton's best movie in a long time. It's definitely one of his most enjoyable movies in a long time. His most enjoyable in a long time. And the thing that I love about Beetlejuice is, besides Beetlejuice still wanting to marry Lydia Dietz, for the most part, this feels like a newer, fresh story for Beetlejuice. It explores more with Beetlejuice as far as his origins go, but the afterlife, the life what's going on with the dead characters. They explore that more. But the thing that I really appreciate with this movie is how Tim Burton not only goes back to doing what he does so well, but also a lot of the stuff, it's practical effect work. There's some noticeable moments that, yeah, this is practical, this is puppet work, but it still looks very good. And I know he said this last year during the strikes, because apparently when the strikes began, this movie was mostly done filming. They were just waiting for the strikes to end so they can take one day to finish up the movie. He said that a lot of practical work was going into this movie, that he was going back to his roots. And in 2024, his practical work, for the most part, looks really good. Even some stuff, there are a few stuff, particularly with the sandworms, that I can tell was still stop motion, and that looked really good as well. The settings, the different settings looked very good as well. Michael Keaton Still has it as Beetlejuice. He was fantastic in this movie. We get to explore a bit more about him and his previous merits. His character Dolores, played by Monica Bellucci. We learn more about her. The way that Beetlejuice tells that story is very entertaining and very well made. But yet, Michael Keaton didn't miss a beat at all in this movie. And when he played Beetlejuice the first time, it was his late 30s that he played the character, mid late 30s. And he's coming back in his early 70s, starting to head into his mid 70s. And the makeup and costume design looked really good for him. He did a great job. Winona Ryder as Lydia Dietz, she did a great job as well in this movie. It's been many years since then. She's no longer a teenager. She's now a single mom with a daughter who's she's estranged with because she doesn't fully buy that Lydia can see ghosts. Because if she can see ghosts, why can't she see her dad? And she has this TV producer, Rory, who is very into her, but she's not as receptive about it, but he's very pushy about it. And we'll get a little more into him later on. But no, she was great as well. She's still rocking that awesome goth look. Catherine O'Hara is also in this movie again as well. She's dealing with her husband's death that brings them all back to where it all started. And I like her character arc in this movie as well. Her and Lydia, it's not like they're close, but they got this better understanding as adults now. And she has her little arc as well that she has. Monica Bellucci, I'll say she had a really good character introduction in this movie, like how her character was introduced. Not as much screen time as I thought she was going to have. I feel like they could have done more with her story arc to focus more on her. Willem Dafoe plays this detective that was while he was living actually an actor, but he's this detective trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to figure out what Beetlejuice is up to, what his ex-wife is up to. As far as Willem Dafoe's performance goes, he was very entertaining as well. Typical excellent Willem Dafoe performance. Jenna Ortega, who plays Astrid, Lydia's daughter, she does a very good job as well. She's obviously become the new popular horror girl in movies. She was in the last two Scream movies. She also plays Wednesday on the Netflix series Wednesday. And she did a very good job in this movie as well. You buy in that she has this tense relationship with her mom. And this movie is around an hour and 45 minutes. It's 13 minutes longer than the first Beetlejuice movie. And I would say if there is one issue I have with this movie, it's the multiple plot lines that are in this movie. There's various plots in this movie compared to the first Beetlejuice that was much more simple with its short time. And with this movie, you have Lydia Dietz dealing with the death of her father, her estranged relationship with her daughter, her TV producer boyfriend that's very pushy about wanting to marry her. You have Astrid's story arc. She meets this boy that she's somewhat into. Then she gets mixed into this world of ghosts and dead people. Yeah, Beetlejuice's story arc between wanting to still marry Lydia Dietz and his first wife coming back. You have Delia Dietz's story arc where she's dealing with her husband's death and trying to process that. There's a lot of stuff that's happening in this movie. And it feels like when they were putting the movie together, the story together, they had they picked ideas from probably maybe past scripts because there were many different stories before this came out and went with the ones that they thought sounded really well. And the problem is that with the story arc, the problem isn't the story arcs. The story arcs, for the most part, work very good. Although the one story arc I felt like was unnecessary was the one with the TV producer boyfriend. That character was, in my opinion, unnecessary. And I think the movie could have been a little bit better without him. But it felt like if you just added maybe an extra 10 to 15 minutes, maybe around about 2 hours for the movie, you could have maybe done some more with the Monica Bellucci stuff. You could have done more with with Astrid's story arc as well. I felt like if you had just cut some certain stuff out or maybe added more stuff, I think the story arcs could have worked out much better as well. Beetlejuice still has around the same amount of screen time as he did in the previous movie, but like the previous movie, it works out very well. Danny Elfman's score still great and upbeat as usual. I would probably say, like, besides the multiple story arcs and that one character, just not a big fan of, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very entertaining. I thought the performances were very good. It was great to see Michael Keaton return. It was as Beetlejuice because that's probably one of my favorite performances of all time. Him as Beetlejuice. Uh, Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara also showed that they're still great as these characters as well. Jenna Ortega continues her great career with another great performance. The Tim Burton gothic feel, the dark comedy feel just works very good. I'll say this movie definitely is darker than the previous movie. This is PG-13, but they push that PG-13 boundary very much. In fact, there's an F-bomb dropped in the movie, and they had to censor out another one. So I don't know if this I wouldn't say this is more family oriented. In fact, like, I would really reconsider taking your little kids if you feel like they can't handle it. The first Beetlejuice is much more family oriented. But besides that, this is still a well-made movie. The practical effects work out great. The costumes look great. The settings look great. The performances are great. The multiple story arcs, while I think for the most part were fine, if you had just maybe cut out one or two, you could have fleshed out a few of them better. But as far as Tim Burton movies go, this feels like Tim Burton returning to form in a strong way. And I would love to see him do more works like this. I doubt he's going to do another Beetlejuice movie because this one took 36 years to make. Everyone's getting older, including Tim Burton. So who really knows? I don't think this movie needs a sequel. Although I would love to see them bring back the Beetlejuice animated series. I don't know if everyone's aware of this. There's a Beetlejuice animated series. It's actually on Tubi for free, and it's very entertaining. So I highly recommend you check that out if you haven't seen the cartoon. But with Beetlejuice, I'm going to give this movie a B+. B for Beetlejuice. And I highly recommend you check this one out in the theaters. So, Beetlejuice, what'd you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you prefer it over the first Beetlejuice movie? Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share this with someone that loves Beetlejuice. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.